Okay, this is the vocabulary for Day of the Dead. So, Day of the Dead. I arrive in Guatemala on the Day of the Dead, November 1st. I'm curious about this holiday. Holiday is the normal word we use for festival. Some people say festival, but holiday is more common. Christmas is a holiday. Halloween is a holiday. So holiday is a common word, the most common word we use. Okay, so I say, I'm curious about this holiday, so I go to the cemetery. Cemetery is a place for dead people. Okay, many dead people in a cemetery. So that's what a cemetery is, right? A place for dead people. Cemetery. It's a large area, usually. Large place. Cemetery. Okay. In the next paragraph, I say, the atmosphere is like a party. Here, atmosphere means the general feeling of a place. For example, I might say, this house has a happy atmosphere. Right? It means the place has a happy feeling. Maybe it's very warm. Maybe a lot of nice people there. Many reasons, but atmosphere means the feeling of a place. A place. The atmosphere. So, the cemetery had an atmosphere, a feeling, like a party. There are many people everywhere. And people were sitting around the graves of their dead ancestors. A grave is a place where one dead person is buried. Right? One dead person is in a grave. One dead body in a grave. Many graves in a cemetery. Right? So a cemetery has many graves. So each grave has one body, and then many graves in a cemetery. Okay, and they're sitting around the graves of their dead ancestors. An ancestor is a person who comes before you in your family. For example, your grandfather or grandmother is an ancestor. Or your great-grandmother is an ancestor. So all the people in your family older than you, who came before you, these people are your ancestors. So it's ancestors. We say ancestors. Okay, they clean the graves and add fresh flowers. The families clean the graves. And I walk around through the cemetery, and I admire, I appreciate, I admire the beauty of all the colorful flowers. There's also color in the sky, because many kids means children, so many kids are flying kites. Kites are paper or plastic, with a string, and you fly them in the wind. Usually children fly kites. That's kites. Some families are having a picnic next to the graves. Picnic is when you eat outside, right? You eat outside with many people. That is a picnic, Okay, and the people, they eat, drink, and chat together. And they laugh and they smile. And this is different than the United States. In the United States, cemeteries are always somber. Somber means very serious. Serious. Somber. Serious and not fun. Right? Serious and not fun. Somber. Somber. So in America, in the United States, cemeteries are somber. They are somber. Very serious. Not fun. Somber. And we never have festivals or parties next to graves. We don't laugh or play music or fly kites in cemeteries either. And then I say, I find that I prefer the Guatemalan approach. I find that. Here, find means realize. I realize that I prefer the Guatemalan approach. I find, I realize, I find that I prefer, I realize that I prefer, I understand that I prefer. Okay, so here find has a different meaning than normal, a little bit. So I find that I prefer the Guatemalan approach. Approach. Here, approach means way. Okay, I prefer the Guatemalan way, the Guatemalan method. I prefer the Guatemalan way. I prefer the Guatemalan approach. Okay, I like the way they remember and celebrate those who have passed away. Passed away. To pass away means to die. It's very polite and very soft way to say die. So if someone's mother dies, you can say, I'm sorry your mother passed away. I'm sorry your mom passed away. I'm sorry she died. I'm sorry she passed away. Passed away is softer and more polite. Okay, next sentence I say, I like that they acknowledge death. Acknowledge means to recognize, to see, and recognize. Instead of denying it, denying is the opposite of acknowledge. Deny means avoid, to say no to something. To avoid something is to deny it. To deny it. And the opposite of deny is acknowledge. Acknowledge and deny. Opposites. Okay, so they don't deny death the way Americans do. I like that there is life as well as death in their cemeteries. Guatemalans call it the Day of the Dead, but it's also a day to appreciate life. Appreciate means celebrate, to understand and like something, so to appreciate. Okay, that is all of the vocabulary. Listen to the vocabulary lesson a few times. Read the text several times. Listen to the audio article a few times. And then, finally, listen to the mini story many, many times. A